Detox and Beyond is a new podcast that we're starting now. This podcast will explore everything around natural health. We will have talking heads, we will have encounters with different people, different coaches, different experts in different fields, and we're going to get into conversations in order to share education, information, something that could help you on your journey. But this time, we will do something a little different. Just to get started, what I want is to introduce you to the team members, and to talk about their own personal journey, their own personal struggles. We want to show ourselves a little bit vulnerable to get started because that's what healing is about. So, what are their challenges? What are they struggling with? And also, why they joined Zen class. So, I want to show you that the journey is not about perfection. It's not that we've sorted it all out, but it's a journey. It's a process. It's a trial and error. So I'm excited about sharing the stories of the people behind the scenes, and I will add to that my 40 years plus experience as we talk, as it may be relevant. So I hope that this will inspire you on your own journey, and see you there. We will have a few episodes where you're going to meet the team. See you there. Okay, welcome to Detox and Beyond. And we continue our series. And today we're having Diana from Romania, and she's our affiliate and growth manager. And this series is about showing the audience how a journey to health is never ending. We commit to health, and it's an ongoing journey. Okay, it's a path. It's not a goal. So everyone joining Zen Clans, I realize because the Zen Clans team pretty much grew over the last 2 years, and I realized that since we were looking for professionals, I realized that many professionals nowadays are looking for purpose, for an environment in which they can also integrate their own personal growth. So today I have some questions for you. But before before I before I question you, I would like to hear you. Where are you at? When did it start? And how did you come up be so beautiful and healthy like that already? So young.
Thank you, Daniel.
Mm.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here and share a bit about where I'm at and my journey with our community. About being beautiful and healthy, I'm still young. You always say this. So I have that advantage, but I'm very inspired by what we are doing to keep myself that way moving forward. Ideally,
Mm,
age,
mm.
in a healthy way because I see it's possible. It's a nice life to have. So where I'm at,
Yeah, where are you at? And how did it start? How did it even come to your mind? Because, oftentimes we meet people anywhere in the street. It's not necessarily part of their concern. It's not, you know, how how did that happen for you?
it's a funny story. I shared it with you a while back when I joined the team 2 years ago. It was one of my resolutions to learn more about the body and nutrition, especially the wellness space, but from this physical um, aspect. Because how it was my life journey, it is said that you have to take care of all three: mind, body, and spirit. So I started with the mind. I was in a very um, challenging place. Let's put it like this, in my early 20s, when I sort of achieved what I wanted, but I was not feeling happy. I was not feeling fulfilled. And I was like, what's wrong with me? I have everything one could wish for, what's wrong? And then is when I started questioning things. And I was very logical, very much in the mind. So by the age of 20, somehow life, society, habits have managed to keep me here. Like I was a bit disconnected from my body, I can see now. And so I started with studying the mind and went to workshops and classes, which slowly directed me towards the spiritual path, so the spirit. So I was in a spiritual journey and working with energy and going inside the body and being connected to that aspect. And the missing piece was, all right, the physical one. Like, how do I feed my body? How do I treat it? And to understand how it works. And I had this as a resolution for 5 years before joining Zen Cleanse. But somehow it was so overwhelming for me to start somewhere because I would follow people on the internet, like different, the opinions were so different. You know, like on one side I would hear like eat this and that and don't do that, and the other, and there is another person coming or studies or that saying the opposite, and I was like, where do I even start learning about these things? Like, but luckily, like I shared, I had the my spiritual tools, right, to align myself on certain frequencies and set the intention out there. So this is how I landed with you guys.
But you talk about, you were very much in your head. For someone 20 years old, what does that mean? I mean, being in your head, you were uncomfortable. It was like you had anxiety. You had what?
I
Normally,
was
we
numb.
make a move.
I was numb.
How did you know that? When
Be-
you're numb,
I was
normally you don't have pain. You
um,
already knew that you were numb.
I was
I'm curious
dissociated
about
from
that.
life somehow.
Okay.
So I remember
No high, no low.
no high, no low.
Okay.
I wasn't feeling alive.
Mm.
I remember I was driving my car every day because I was commuting from city center to a small town. And I was driving and I was like, my life is perfect. I have everything I want. And I was maybe sad, but it was a type of sadness that's in the background, it doesn't punch you, it doesn't constantly hurt. It's just like, so what? Like, whatever would happen, good
Mm.
or bad, I was like, so what? And I was like, I don't want to live like this.
Mm.
I want to feel alive. I want to feel joy. And I realized that I have to do something about it.
Mm.
I think on a subtle level, when we are numb, we are in pain. It's just a
You,
different kind of pain.
you know that something
But
is
it's,
wrong.
yes,
You know that
something is
something is
wrong. And
wrong.
that,
Cannot be. And
yeah,
probably like at a younger age, you had more aliveness, as a kid or something. You had this experience of whatever a
as a
kid.
kid, as
As
a
a kid,
kid,
you had.
yes,
So
yes,
you knew you lost something.
yes,
Yeah. And in fact, you engage into, you said in the mind. I don't know exactly what you went through. Different, there's so many kinds of kind of approach. And after that, you seek for nutrition because there's so much we hear about nutrition, the
yeah,
importance of nutrition, and you face contradiction.
yes.
So how do you manage that? How do you manage? I know exactly what you mean.
I
I
didn't.
know it because there's so many there's so many options, so many dogmas nowadays, right?
I was just keeping this intention somewhere, floating.
But you were
And
you were engaged. You were taking classes, you were reading books, you were
no, no.
no,
So not
okay.
about nutrition. That's what I'm
Mm-mm.
sharing. So
Okay.
I was more on the, and things, my in my journey, things happened. So when I went to the spiritual path, and when I say this, is just coming back to my body and feeling what the body must says to me, and like a lot of somatic practices, things like this. And things are shifting. I remember like my body was asking for better food. At some point it refused coffee, and I'm a coffee lover. That was an identity crisis I had.
Mm.
So the more I would work with myself on an energetical level, the more my body would react and would adjust and ask different things from me from what I was used to. So
Mhm.
this is like, okay, I must learn, I want to learn you, like, what do you truly need and how
Right.
to approach, and also help myself, because from that extreme of being numb, I went to feeling it all, and that's also not a fun place to be, because you have highs. I had highs and lows. I was like, okay, I get it. That I don't know, healing or whatever, but I want to live a normal life. Like I want to be steady and
What
composed.
was your, what
you
was
know.
your image of a normal life? You know, because we
Um,
say that in fact, the more you waken, um, the more you vibrate, the more you feel. It's not the opposite. And the more you feel yourself. That's the first encounter, and then you feel your surrounding, and that's also part
good
of it,
remark.
right?
Yeah. In this case, what I meant by normal, and I'm getting there. I feel like I'm close. Not a lot of triggers though, so please, God keep it this way. I mean,
You won't.
feel, don't say that. Feeling things,
Yeah.
but not letting them overwhelm you. Like,
Mhm.
okay, I feel this emotion is normal. It's life. Like emotions come and go, and okay, this surfaced. Like having the confidence that I can deal with everything, and also not spending so much time in the spiritual realm, which I know and I believe it exists. But okay, mm, here on Earth,
Mhm.
I came here on Earth. How can I make the best of the human experience? And I have
Mhm.
plenty of time, maybe afterwards, to because I was sneak peeking a lot.
Mm.
I
How
was
do you,
sneak peeking.
what is it's a real question. What is the spiritual world? And are you spending more time in the spiritual world? You were like spacing out, or kind of disappearing from here,
Um,
or buying into
no,
dogmas, or
but trying to find meaning in everything. Like, oh, why is this happening? And
mm,
what do I have to, for example, I know you now spit a little bit of tea on myself and you get angry and we argue. And then instead of like, ah, it's life, Daniel got angry and I move on.
mm,
I would be like, okay, what is this showing me? How I must approach this, like going into the rabbit hole of understanding how we
mm,
work as human beings
mm,
and to all the levels. And that's what I mean.
mm-hmm.
So that you consume energy into
Yeah, trying to give meaning to everything, right?
hmm?
Trying to
Trying to
give
give, yes,
meaning to
yes, or
everything.
just knowing yourself
Mm,
in such depth that is it can be exhausting. Or
mm,
I don't know if it was fun. Like it
mm-hmm,
was fun and it helped and I learned.
mm,
And I recommend people going inwards. It just, I feel like for me it was a chapter and now I'm like, okay, not so interesting anymore. Like I've seen, I've done. I want to, I don't know, build things now, be the creator in my life, and then
uh-huh.
be more in the material world, but from a healthy, detached perspective
Yeah,
to deal
it's
with
an
it.
integration actually.
Mm.
We grab thing there, and then there's the reality. I was talking to a friend recently, much younger, also just had an awakening recently, and then he was going back. He's like, it was so much excitement happening because of what happened, and it's like he was discovering a new part of himself, and he was on holiday and he had to go back home, and I talked with him after he went back home, and he was kind of holding to the feeling he had at that moment, and then that's the beginning of the spiritual struggle,
Yes.
because things move, right? And we tend to conclude or imagine that things should be in a way when we feel good at some point and everything seems to be in place. We imagine we got something.
Yes.
We yeah
Nothing changes,
we
no place.
yeah, exactly.
Stop the word
Yeah,
from spinning.
yeah, and that's where the downfall starts, actually,
Hmm.
isn't it? Is like, don't you think that it's more about acceptance? Is in the acceptance of the experience, is not taking it things too personal.
Definitely.
It's like, you know, uh, I like to compare what we feel inside as how nature feels outside. When we look, outside, we look at the nature, and and then sunny, rainy, cloudy, stormy, windy, and the electric storm and everything is there, and we're just there looking at this through the window, and we we use a lot of philosophy, right? Oh, it's good for nature. Look at the wind; it's just blowing off all the dead leaves from the trees, and we like it green. It's oh, and nature is resting. But then all these weathers that move through us, suddenly we have a problem. You know, don't you think that we are nature, and there's something natural about the weathers, the internal weathers inside, When we look outside, we know that the weather is kind of there to restore balance, right? It restore balance. If it was too hot, and then this, that you'll have a good storm, and after the storm, it feels fresh. The air feels like reset, electric, and our emotions, which are internal weathers, why wouldn't they be the same? Why wouldn't they serve the same purpose of restoring balance? I realize that in my life, if I have a long moment of hard work and push, 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 it's followed by a moment that I would call depression. But I don't take it so personally. So I kind of go with that flow, and I don't suffer it so much, but that's my internal weather. So I know it, and I don't fight it. It's not like, oh, I shouldn't be like that today. Yeah. It's like if you say, yeah, it shouldn't be raining today, like you may have a bad day, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have my mentor has a really nice saying about depression. What you shared. Well, yes, if you were under pressure, after that you have to depressurize yourself. So that's depression, and it's
Mm-hmm.
normal. And if you accept it, that also passes. Um, I really resonate with everything you shared, and I share these beliefs. In the same time, what was challenging for me, and I would like to open this conversation, is how mm, the current society and the world is built. I don't feel that is really supported in that way, for us humans
Mm.
to act and just be humans. Like,
True. Allow these moments,
yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
So I can
Mm.
I can see a challenge there for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of almost just happiness, and I call it the customer service syndrome.
Mm.
It's
How
like
so?
you wake up at 9 and you're supposed to smile all day,
Yeah.
and everything should be fine. And then you come back home, and then you allow your feelings, you just crash until the next day. There's this social agreement that, you know, we shouldn't worry, we shouldn't be afraid, Anger is not a good thing, you know. It's kind of unevolved, should not allow these things. And yet it moved through. We just
Mm-hmm.
feel all these things, but there's no output. There's nowhere where we can allow that, or we don't learn to channel to allow those. We're not allowing ourselves to feel these because
Exactly.
we've been told that it's not right. So,
And this is
there's a
exactly how
judgment
I
on it.
was numb. Like how I got to being, because if you
That's a
repress,
Yeah.
what they don't tell you, what no one tells you, is that if you repress bad emotions, which I don't think in that, but like anger,
Mm,
fear, guilt, whatever you mentioned, is that you also repress joy, happiness, feelings of love. Like, you cannot turn down the volume of one and still have the other ones, at
mm-hmm.
high volume. So it's either both,
Mm,
intensity wise,
mm.
or none.
Well, it's
Yeah.
emotion, right? In energy in motion. So if you block one of them, you block the flow.
Yes, you
So
block the flow.
you know it never passes until you allow them and you start moving, and you know it refines itself, and then you purify yourself emotionally. You know, you allow the energy to move. But on otherwise, if you will not allow all the emotion, if you not allow the flow, then you know there's no way you can be in the moment, because if you block the energy
Mm.
there, you'll be there until you allow the energy to move further. So that's how we get into patterns and what is right and what is wrong, you know? It's like we cannot just allow, we just behave how we're told.
Yes.
So this is, I think this is the big part of healing, don't you think? The big part of healing, what we, of course, healing for us is kind of stepping out of pain, but uh but what does that mean ultimately? Stepping out of pain is actually getting back into the flow, getting back into feeling, allowing all the movement. And then we get back into what is real, like a kid, you know?
Yes.
The kid is just going through all the emotion and everything is fine, you know? There's no judgment on this. But once since you enter you joined Zen Cleanse, you integrated other things, like you've been taking enzymes since the
Since I
beginning.
joined. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
since you
yes, yes, yes,
joined.
yes,
Can
yes,
you
yes.
did that change anything?
A lot.
Oh
Oh my
yeah.
God, yes. So Zenklis was actually, it came as the answer I was looking for, you know. I always share this with my friends that I had this strong intention of learning about true nutrition, and I landed in the best place on earth, you know, when I joined you guys. So oh my God, it changed so much for me, and it gave me knowledge. I still have a long way to go, but most importantly, relief. And this is something I'm grateful mostly to you, and seeing how you approach things, you know, when we had our chats and I'm asking you things here and there, and I can see that the place from which you are sharing and approaching the body is a very relaxed place. Like the body knows what to do. Here's how you can support it, because of course I can damage my body or I can support my body. But I feel that in a world where there is so much noise and so much pressure of you must do things like this and that, and then I know the energy is heavy. For me it feels heavy.
Hmm.
I landed in a place that was really aligned with how I approach life, and I approach life in a relaxed way. I'm like, "Ah, I'm gonna
Hmm.
die anyway. I might as well, you know, live and feel good while I live this life, because I don't know. This is
Hmm. How did that happen? Like
so, but
physically, or
physically, yes, physically, definitely what improved most for me is the digestion. Like I was always sensitive with,
right? I remember that
remember,
when you, yeah, 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 yeah.
eating
Hmm.
certain foods, you know, and it's so funny because I mean, it's not funny, I'm ironic. There's so many things considered normal, as at least from where I come from. You're like, okay, it's normal to be bloated, constipation is normal, this and that, like this is how you are. And I'm like, no, I came here like, that's not normal, that's a body that's not functioning properly. Can you live like this your whole life and maybe nothing too bad will happen? Yes, but why would you? Like, why would you accept that,
Why
you
would you
know?
not hope for
Why?
more than this?
Yes.
Yeah.
And also the vitality part. I have energy. I am alive, and I can really sense that. And it's such a difference. What I've experienced with Zen cleanse is this saying, you know, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know how good you can feel.
It's like you
I
open doors,
Yes,
right? Yeah,
I
you kind
didn't
of
know
open.
how good I can feel. I didn't
Hmm.
know
Right.
how much strength my body has. I didn't know that if I do things in a certain way, it would regulate my emotions, and I would become more, um, stable emotionally, or it would be easier for
Mm.
me to write, the emotional waves, and everything is a bit different. For a woman, we have our cycle, and that is tricky. If you learn how to support yourself and go through those phases, oh my God, your life changes, especially if you are also I'm a very active person. I like doing things, I like creating, I'm
Mm-hmm.
on the move. So Zen class was really life changing for me, when being able to support myself from a physical
Mm.
level, which, if you ask me, I mean, it's not only physical, it reaches
Right.
more than
Yeah.
that,
Well,
but
the
it was
body
the
is kind
missing
of
piece. Yeah.
body is kind of the reflection of the emotional and the mental aspect
Yeah.
of our being, right?
Yes.
So when we cleanse the body, our emotions change. There's something that becomes more open. It becomes more like easier to accept things, for
Mm-hmm.
example, and our thoughts are changing. And my personal experience is like we become more the witness of the being that we're born to be.
That's
You
so
know what I
true.
mean?
Yes.
It's like there's something that comes out. I remember these things, and it still happen. It's like, oh my God, did I say that? This is brilliant, or did I I feel so great, and it's not because it's something that I do, or it's not something that I planned, or that it's just like a pure flow of energy, of expression, of energy that I realize that come. So in that sense, like you say, it's not like something that you could have planned because it was hiding behind something,
Yeah.
right? So so yeah. So and what's the future for you? Now you open that door. What does that tell you?
That's the thing. See, it's changed me. I'm not thinking about the future the way I used to. Like, I'm more. It's like I have intentions now, and I
Mm.
have, like, this is what I think today, here and now. It would be great for me, but the journey will
Yeah,
take me
but
where is
but
most.
you do something for that. Do,
Um,
do, do you take any responsibility for
oh
anything?
yes, of
It
course,
just
of
didn't happen
course. No,
like
no, no.
you
Like,
you took some move
as,
decisions and
yes,
actions.
yes. And what
Mm,
I'm currently, where I am in my journey, is taking ownership over being consistent. Like, I realize how important this is, and this is maybe one of the things that um, challenge me. But having that routine and being consistent, and really sticking to certain things that do good for me.
mm,
And enzymes are one of those, and I can see, and from what you shared, it's so funny, because I have moments where I would not like, but you remember when you were indulging. So, for example, my thing, what I do, and I did, not that I'm proud of, but where I was struggling, is I do tend to emotionally eat, like, for comfort, especially
mm.
sweet things like
Who
pastries, or,
doesn't?
oh my
Yeah.
God. And it's so funny, because now I'm taking an enzyme, in the afternoon, for example, especially the liquid ones. And then my body feels clean, feels good. And I would want something sweet, and I don't want it anymore. And for a brief moment, I'm frustrated that I cannot harm myself the way I used to. It's very funny. It's, of course, I'm not for real, but I can catch my old patterns. The moment they arise, I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
interesting. And yeah, I've taken this, my body has responded, and somehow I feel, what I'm trying to get is that by supporting my body, I can feel it supports the other processes as well for me. Like, it makes it easier for me to be
Mm,
consistent, to hold myself accountable, to think about health. It's very beautiful in
mm-hmm.
that sense.
Yeah, the trap of getting into rigidity is part of the journey, I think, we feel and we say, okay, I feel so good today because yesterday I did this. I slept on the right side. Got out of bed with on the left foot. And, I just went to brush my teeth, after I shower, like you try to, and then you
Yeah.
duplicate exactly the same as you did the day before. And you have a terrible day.
Yeah.
You have a terrible day. I think good way to close is, I think it's the secret is about trusting the voice inside and having the discernment. Oftentimes what harms ourselves, we know it. We know what it is, you know, and we know if it's because we are much indulging in it, or it's, we know when what we're doing wrong for ourselves. It's not about like the whole planet
Mm-hmm.
should do like I do, but I think that the challenge is to stay tuned in ourselves, and again allowing, because the health is in the flow. Health comes in the flow. It doesn't come with things. Some things may be in the flow at certain time, at certain other time maybe not. But how can we stay aligned with this inner voice, that guides us, and that may be different at a certain moment in our life and
Mm.
another moment in our lives? I think this is where cleansing, detoxing physically, emotionally, and mentally is useful to get this clarity and this easy going way of living our lives.
I confirm. It
Yes.
happened to me. That's the story of
Mm-hmm.
my life.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
clean those
Yeah.
pathways so that
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Some
you
say
you
I
you
read.
have access to your inner
Yeah.
voice, so that
Mm,
your inner voice becomes louder. Because for
mm.
some, maybe it whispers. That was my case.
Uh-huh. Years back, I read the book is like the course in miracles.
Yes.
Very famous book, and there's something that always stayed with me. In this book, it was saying God does not speak to you through guilt or anxiety or fear. It speaks to you through excitement. So let's give a trial to this, and let's tune in. And is it excitement, or am I trying to to uh, to tame some discomfort, or what am I trying to do with this, and follow the bliss that is there? Thank you,
Thank
Diana.
you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Daniel.
Good to have you.